So excited for you to be starting the Lovin' It box with your kids or your writing group or whoever it is you're doing this box with. I just did it with a couple of girls. I launched it with a fourth grader and a sixth grader. It was Maggie and Monroe. And I'm going to kind of walk through what happened and my thoughts as I did it. And there's not a wrong way to do the box, but I'm going to tell you how I approached it, and you can take it as a jumping off point for how you do it too. Writing with your kids. So the first step, obviously, is printing. And I had a really busy day and I didn't have a lot of prep time. So I thought, oh, this is great because this is exactly how it is for families, right? So I printed everything out and then I looked at the list for collecting. Now the list for collecting was pretty basic and I just happened to have around the house a few like Valentine heart type things. And right now when I'm filming this, it is February 3rd. So if you're doing it in February, there is like Valentine swag everywhere. I would say grab little things like little fun dollar store Valentine swag and just have it as part of the resources you can use just to make it more fun. When I showed the girls what we were doing, the Lovin' It box, they were very excited just because of the time of year. And they said, oh, hearts, Valentines. And it's just kind of a playful, fun time to do a Lovin' It box. Of course, you don't have to do this box in February. This box works anytime. But if you are doing it in February, I would say just like grab little things. I had these little heart glasses. I had Valentine stickers. I had little Valentines. So one of the things it says to collect for this box is you need a very large piece of paper. Now I have like a really big, this is even bigger than a poster paper piece of paper, but just a piece of poster board would work perfectly. But the way I started the box with the girls is I showed them this really big piece of paper and I told them we are going to be publishing about things you love. And we're going to make a big wall that's going to have your writing about different things that are special and important to you that you love. And I also showed them the Lovin' It sign that's also part of your box that you can print. And I suggested that, you could also decorate it with stickers. There's all kinds of ways you can make it like really beautiful, but it got them excited from the start that the writing they were doing had a place to go. And that, I would say with kids, if you can get their buy-in, you're set. Buy-in is the hardest part. I would say launching, anytime I launch something new for kids with writing, it's always the start that's hard. It's the buy-in that's hard. So once you have their buy-in, you're good. Something else I found really helpful from the onset of getting this box going was to go to the writer's guide, and together we read the Dear Writer letter. And the part that was super helpful when you look at it, it says, suppose you're taking a trip and you only have room for one favorite thing in your suitcase. What are you going to pack? And I also said the suitcase is as big as you need it to be, but it can only be one thing. And immediately Monroe said Louie, her dog, and Maggie said she would bring all of her books. So they started from the beginning with something they really loved, and we went straight from that and started working on the heart map. The heart map has an example page that shows them possibilities for things for the map, and then it has a blank page. And the way I copied it for the girls is I had it back to back, and this is something that I had them put in their writer's toolbox binder, because all of these ideas that they put on the heart map, they might not use all of them for this block of writing, but it's something they can return to and write from later. So the first thing they put on their heart map was Louie the dog, and Maggie put about her books. And I, on the whiteboard that I had next to them where we were working, I made a big heart and I started putting things that were on my list. So as it was the collaborative. I didn't really plan what I was going to write on my heart, but it was just, they were working, I was working, and I was just putting things that I love on the map. When you write with kids, it takes you off of like the king and queen of the lesson. It just puts you right in the seat next to them. And it's a powerful experience. You become comrades in writing together, and it's also a lot of fun for you. After they had a pretty good list on their heart map, I showed them the Count the Ways page. I said, we're going to write about things you love in 3 different ways. Which way do you want to do first? And they chose list poem. Immediately, that's what they wanted to do. So we looked at the example. There's an example for each of these about skiing. And we read the example of how a list poem goes. And then we went to the whiteboard, and I had put on my heart something I love is protein shakes. So I said, all right, let's try it. Let's try a list poem about protein shakes. And we followed the guide from here, and we did it on the board together, and they helped me write my poem about protein shakes, and then it was their turn. And they wrote about Louie. Maggie wrote about Louie, and Monroe wrote about books, and just listed out ideas and phrases and words and reasons why they love that thing. And then we shaped it into the poem. I found it helpful when I was working through the poem to talk to them about the different writing stages and say, all right, now that you have your ideas down, let's look at it and make sure it's exactly the words are just how you want them to be. Read it out loud, see if there's anything you want to change. And that was revising. And then when they were ready for actually publishing the poem, we had to make sure and edit it first. And on a poem that was pretty simple to just really focus on spelling. And I said, do you see any words on your poem that you don't really think you have spelled correctly? And they each very quickly found the words that they were unsure of. And so I asked for permission if I could write the word correctly on their page. They took that word and put it on their personal spelling list, which if you have the starter set, you have a place in the writer's toolbox for that. And then they took the draft and they put it on their final copy page. And it was a lot of fun to just stretch. I said, all right, let's just stretch the poem out, and you can kind of zigzag it down the page, and then you can add pictures to go with it. And they had a great time doing that. It was a lot of fun. By the time we were finished publishing their poem, I could read the room. They were getting a little bit tired, and you always want to stop with kids before they want to stop. You want to stop, like you want to kind of feel it out and stop a little bit ahead of it so they leave wanting to come back and wanting to write more. So we ended it for the day and moving forward. So it was actually quite a big writing session, and we did a lot of things in that session. And I think if I easily could have broken that up into maybe like 3 little parts. Maybe I would just do the heart map on one day, and then we could do drafting the poem on another day, and then editing and publishing it on another day. So what I did in that one day could have easily been 3 writing sessions. But returning another day with them, we would go back to the heart map and say, all right, we wrote about those things yesterday. What do you want to write about today? Is there anything that you've been thinking about that you need to add to your heart map? Let's add things to our heart map. Let's keep this heart map growing, because there's so many things we love, and all the things we love we can include on our map, and they're amazing, beautiful, wonderful possibilities for writing. And then I would go also look at the Count the Ways page and say, okay, we've done a list poem, and maybe they want to do a list poem again. Totally awesome. If they love the list poem and they're not done with it and they want to try it again, go for it. There's not rules. Like, you don't have to make sure you do every single thing on the page, but there are different ways to write. And there's the diary entry that we've included here and the best in the world. And it's fun to take something you love and say, all right, I'm going to write about it as if it's the first time I've ever met my dog Louie. Dear diary, today was the first day I met Louie. Or today I tried a new recipe for a protein shake, or whatever it is you're writing about. And then this one, the best in the world, it's fun to convince someone, you know, my dog Louie is the best dog in the world. And you think your dog is great? Wait till you hear about Louie. You're gonna love Louie. It's fun, especially it makes it fun when you're writing about things that you love. But that's what I would come back and do the next day is let's write about something else we love. Are we done with list poems? Do we want to try diary entries? Do we want to try best in the world? There are more activities in the box. Another activity is just being outside and looking at the world, taking notes of things you love. And it's actually another kind of list poem idea that's published on this page, but it's from a different perspective and looking at like a lot of things you love. That's included in the club time activity. Another part, of course, of this box and every box are the writing prompt stickers. And this is actually not on sticker paper. I just have this on a piece of paper, but you can just cut them out and just glue them right on the page, or we love to use these on Avery labels. But this, I mean, maybe another session is just doing a roller coaster ride, just doing a writing prompt. At the end of whatever it is your ending is, and this might be after 3 weeks, it might be after 2 weeks, it might be after 4 weeks, you want to gather it all up and have them look at all their writing and make decisions about how they want to publish. And they have a lot of it will be on this really beautiful publishing paper, and they can put it on their big poster, and you just celebrate. You celebrate their writing. I would hang it on a wall and make it like the museum of things I love, the museum, my writing museum of things that I love, and celebrate it. Maybe take the heart stickers that you found at the dollar store, and every time people read it, they put a heart sticker on it to say they loved it and they read it. There is a lot of energy that comes from kids having their writing go somewhere. They work on it differently when they know it's going to be read, when they know it's going to be displayed. There is a different level of intensity and work that they put in. So I hope this has given you a good approach for how you might want to go through this box. And there's just a lot of great possibilities for it, and you really can't go wrong. It's a huge aha discovery when children recognize that the things that they love are worth writing about. Especially, this isn't a fiction heavy box. This is more focusing on nonfiction and things that are just important to them. And that can be a powerful stance for kids to take, that their life and things that they cherish are worthy of putting down on paper. So hope you love it, and we love writing with you. So onward, let us know how we can help.